I'm 6'3". He's probably gonna be taller than me, and because he's only 12 and he's almost my height, and the dude's gonna fucking grow up and he's gonna move on, and it's all good what I've been doing for the past 12 years or 11 years, raising him by myself. And I love him, and he loves me, and there'll never be like a disconnect like in that way, but he's gonna do, if I'm doing my job right, he's gonna end up and going and have his own family and not have to worry about me at all. And that's what I want for him, dude. And so that kind of like thinking ahead, that's when that comes to that time, I guess, it's gonna be hard for me, dude. Like, I'm gonna like, shit. Yeah, I'll fucking basically physically around me in the immediate time and place and every day-to-day things, I'm gonna be alone, dude. Unless I fucking find some pussy to fucking find somebody that I can treat right, I guess, and fucking, I guess a woman, because I'm not a fag, so
I
like,
should let you know, I did start the broadcast.
Oh, okay. Oh, there we go. Well, then I'll stop. How about that?
No, you're good, man. Alright, let's get to tonight's reading.
Go ahead.
Love you, man. Jeez.
I just don't know. I just talk. Dude,
Alright, let's get into the word together. We're going to be at Acts chapter 21. Moving on to Acts chapter 25. And Squirrel, Dope Man and I, and as well as another gentleman, were talking about doing Bible studies as well as just reading and possibly looking at those. So if that's something you're interested in, keep an eye on the group chat. We're going to be talking about starting that up here pretty soon.
Yes, Bible studies and actual feedback rather than just reciting the scripture. We need a little bit more. I need it a little bit more. Go ahead. I'm shutting up now.
No, you're good, man. Alright, starting in at 21. After saying farewell to the Ephesian elders, we sailed straight to the island of Kos. The next day we reached Rhodes and then went to Sparta. There we boarded a ship sailing for Phoenicia. We sighted the island of Cyprus, passed it on our left, and landed in the harbor of Tyre in Syria, where the ship was to unload its cargo. We went ashore, found the local believers, and stayed with them a week. These believers prophesied through the Holy Spirit that Paul should not go on to Jerusalem. When we returned to the ship at the end of the week, the entire congregation, including the women and children, left the city and came down to the shore with us. There we knelt, prayed, and said our farewells. Then we went aboard, and they returned home. The next stop after leaving Tyre in Ptolemais, we greeted the brothers and sisters and stayed for one day. The next day we went on to Caesarea and stayed at the home of Philip the evangelist. Hey, Dope, I apologize, but I'm getting a lot of feedback of myself on your mic. Would you mind muting?
Yeah, Dope, can you mute for a sec?
Thank you very much, brother.
Yeah, thank you.
Alright. Sorry, I get caught up when I hear my own voice with a 1-second delay. Apparently it's a real phenomenon that it alters your speech ability.
Sorry, I got it.
No, you're good, man. Alright. Continuing now, Acts 21, verse 8. The next day we went on to Caesarea and stayed at the home of Philip the evangelist, one of the 7 men who had been chosen to distribute food. He had 4 unmarried daughters who had the gift of prophecy. Several days later, a man named Agabus, who had also the gift of prophecy, arrived from Judea. He came over, took Paul's belt, and bound his own feet and hands with it. Then he said, "The Holy Spirit declares, so shall the owner of this belt be bound by the Jewish leaders in Jerusalem, and turned over to the Gentiles. When we heard this, we and the local believers all begged Paul not to go on to Jerusalem. But he said, "Why all this weeping? You are breaking my heart. I am ready not only to be jailed at Jerusalem, but even to die for the sake of the Lord Jesus." When it was clear that we couldn't persuade him, we gave up and said the Lord's will be done. After this, we packed our things and left for Jerusalem. Some believers from Caesarea accompanied us, and they took us to the home of Manason, a man originally from Cyprus and one of the early believers. When we arrived, the brothers and sisters in Jerusalem welcomed us warmly. The next day, Paul went with us to meet with James and all the elders of the Jerusalem church. And all the elders of the Jerusalem church were present. After greeting them, Paul gave a detailed account of the things God had accomplished among the Gentiles through his ministry. After hearing this, they praised God, and then they said, "You know, dear brothers, how many thousands of Jews have also believed, and they all follow the law of Moses very seriously. But the Jewish believers here in Jerusalem have been told that you are teaching all of the Jews who live among the Gentiles to turn their back on the law of Moses. They have heard that you teach them not to circumcise their children or follow other Jewish customs. What should we do? They will certainly hear that you have come. Here's what we want you to do. We have 4 men who have completed their vow. Go with them to the temple and join them in the purification ceremony, praying for them to have their heads ritually shaved. Then everyone will know that the rumors are all false, and that you yourselves observe the Jewish laws. As for the Gentile believers, they should do what we already told them in a letter. They should abstain from eating food offered to idols, from consuming blood or meat of strangled animals, and from sexual immorality." So Paul went to the temple the next day with the other men. They had already started the purification ritual, so he publicly announced the date when their vows would end and sacrifices would be offered for each of them. The 7 days were almost ended when some Jews from the province of Asia saw Paul in the temple and roused a mob against him. They grabbed him, yelling, "Men of Israel, help us! This is the man who preaches against our people everywhere and tells everybody to disobey the Jewish laws. He speaks against the temple and even defiles this holy place by bringing in Gentiles." For earlier that day, they had seen him in the city with Trophimus, a Gentile from Ephesus, and they assumed Paul had taken him into the temple. The whole city was rocked by these accusations, and a great riot followed. Paul was grabbed and dragged out of the temple, and immediately the gates were closed behind him, and they were trying to kill him. Word reached the commander of the Roman regiment that all of Jerusalem was in an uproar. He immediately called out his soldiers and officers and ran down among the crowd. When the mob saw the commander and the troops coming, they stopped beating Paul. "Hey, Twisted, I see you're sitting in the prayer chair. Do you need immediate prayer for something? If you don't want to hop on mic, you can give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Entirely up to you."
I don't think they know what's going on. They were standing beside you earlier.
He sent me a message saying amen, so I know he's hearing me. So I'm just giving him a quick second to respond in message, and if not, then I'll keep going. But I have those chairs there just in case someone needs immediate prayer while I'm doing this. Alright, since you're not moving or anything, I'm going to keep going if that's alright with you. Feel free to message me any time if you need prayer. And I did see your friend request. Oh, that could be why he hasn't messaged. I apologize. I saw that friend request pop in. But doing 2 things at once is, well, not my strong suit. So, alright, there we go. I just accepted that. If you do need prayer requests, just feel free to speak up, my friend, or to shoot me a message. Until then, we're going to keep on keeping on. Let's see, we were Continuing here at Acts 21, verse 33. Then the commander arrested him and ordered him bound with 2 chains. He asked the crowd who he was and what he had done. Some shouted one thing and some another. Since he couldn't find out the truth in all the uproar and confusion, he ordered that Paul be taken to the fortress. As Paul reached the stairs, the mob grew so violent, the soldiers had to lift him on their shoulders to protect him. And the crowd followed behind, shouting, "Kill him! Kill him!" As Paul was about to be taken inside, he said to the commander, "May I have a word with you?" "Do you know Greek?" the commander asked, surprised. "Aren't you the Egyptian who led a rebellion some time ago and took 4,000 members of the assassins out into the desert?" "No," Paul replied. "I am a Jew and a citizen of Tarsus in Cilicia, which is an important city. Please let me talk to these people." The commander agreed, so Paul stood on the stairs and motioned for the people to be quiet. Soon a deep silence enveloped the crowd as he addressed them in their own language, Aramaic. Continuing now, chapter 22. "Brothers and esteemed fathers," Paul said, "listen to me as I offer my defense." When they heard him speaking in their own language, the silence was even greater. Then Paul said, "I am a Jew, born in Tarsus, a city in Cilicia, and I was brought up and educated here in Jerusalem under Gamaliel. As his student, I was carefully trained in our Jewish laws and customs. I became very zealous to honor God in everything I did, just like all of you today. And I persecuted the followers of the way, hounding some to death, arresting both men and women, and throwing them in prison. The high priest and the whole council of elders can testify that this is so. For I received letters from them to our Jewish brothers in Damascus authorizing me to bring the followers of the way from there to Jerusalem in chains to be punished." A quick side note. The way was what early Christians were known as, followers of the way. It's in reference to Jesus saying, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father except by me." Continuing now at 22 verse 6. "As I was on the road approaching Damascus about noon, a very bright light from heaven suddenly shone down around me. I fell to the ground and heard a voice saying to me, 'Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me?' 'Who are you, Lord?' I asked. And the voice replied, 'I am Jesus the Nazarene, the one you are persecuting.' The people with me saw the light, but didn't understand the voice speaking to me. I asked, 'What should I do, Lord?' And the Lord told me, 'Get up and go into Damascus. There you will be told everything you are to do.' I was blinded by the intense light and had to be led by the hand to Damascus by my companions. A man named Ananias lived there. He was a godly man deeply devoted to the law and well regarded by all the Jews of Damascus. He came and stood beside me and said, 'Brother Saul, regain your sight.' And at that very moment, I could see him. Then he told me, 'The God of our ancestors has chosen you to know his will and to see the righteous one and to hear him speak. For you will be his witness, telling everyone what you have seen and heard. What are you waiting for? Get up and be baptized. Have your sins washed away by calling on the name of the Lord.' After I returned to Jerusalem, I was praying in the temple and fell into a trance. I saw a vision of Jesus saying to me, 'Hurry, leave Jerusalem, for the people here won't accept your testimony about me.' 'But Lord,' I argued, 'they certainly know that in every synagogue I imprisoned and beat those who believed in you. And I was in complete agreement when your witness Stephen was killed. I stood by and kept the coats they took off when they stoned him.' But the Lord said to me, 'Go, for I will send you far away to the Gentiles.' The crowd listened until Paul said that word. Then they all began to shout, 'Away with such a fellow! He isn't fit to live!' They yelled, threw off their coats, and tossed handfuls of dust into the air. The commander brought Paul inside and ordered him lashed with whips to make him confess his crime. He wanted to find out why the crowd had become so furious. When they tied Paul down to lash him, Paul said to the officer standing there, Is it legal for you to whip a Roman citizen who hasn't even been tried?" When the officer heard this, he went to the commander and asked, "What are you doing? This man is a Roman citizen." So the commander went over and asked Paul, "Tell me, are you a Roman citizen?" "Yes, I certainly am," Paul replied. "I am too," the commander muttered, "and it cost me a plenty." Paul answered, "But I am a citizen by birth." The soldiers who were about to interrogate Paul quickly withdrew when they heard he was a Roman citizen, and the commander was frightened because he had ordered him bound and whipped. The next day the commander ordered the leading priests into session with the Jewish High Council. He wanted to find out what the trouble was all about, so he released Paul to have him stand before them. Continuing now at chapter 23. Gazing intently at the High Council, Paul began, "Brothers, I have always lived before God with a clear conscience." Instantly, Ananias the high priest commanded those close to Paul to slap him on the mouth. But Paul said to him, "God will slap you, you corrupt hypocrite. What kind of judge are you to break the law yourself by ordering me struck like that?" Those standing near Paul said to him, "Do you dare to insult God's high priest?" "I'm sorry, brothers, I didn't realize he was the high priest," Paul replied, "for the scriptures say you must not speak evil of any of your rulers." Paul realized that some members of the high council were Sadducees, and some were Pharisees. So he shouted, "Brothers, I am a Pharisee, as were my ancestors, and I am on trial because my hope is in the resurrection of the dead." This divided the council, the Pharisees against the Sadducees. For the Sadducees say that there is no resurrection, or angels, or spirits, but the Pharisees believe in all of these. So there was a great uproar. Some of the teachers of religious law who were Pharisees jumped up and began to argue forcefully. "We see nothing wrong with him," they shouted. "Perhaps a spirit or an angel spoke to him." As the conflict grew more violent, the commander was afraid they would tear Paul apart. So he ordered his soldiers to go and rescue him by force and to take him back to the fortress. That night the Lord appeared to Paul and said, "Be encouraged, Paul. Just as you have been a witness to me here in Jerusalem, you must preach the good news in Rome as well." The next morning a group of Jews got together and bound themselves with an oath not to eat or drink until they had killed Paul. There were more than 40 of them in this conspiracy. They went to the leading priests and elders and told them, "We have bound ourselves with an oath to eat nothing until we have killed Paul. So you and the high council should ask the commander to bring Paul to the council again. Pretend you want to examine his case more fully. We will kill him on the way." But Paul's nephew, his sister's son, heard of their plan and went to the fortress and told Paul. Paul called for one of the Roman officers and said, "Take this young man to the commander. He has something important to tell him." So the officer did, explaining, "Paul, the prisoner, called me over and asked me to bring this young man to you because he has something to tell you." Excuse me. The commander took his hand, led him aside, and asked, "What is it you want to tell me?" Paul's nephew told him, "Some Jews are going to ask you to bring Paul before the high council tomorrow, pretending they want to get some more information. But don't do it. There are more than 40 men hiding along the way, ready to ambush him. They have vowed not to eat or drink anything until they have killed him. They are ready now, just waiting for your consent. Don't let anyone know you told me this," the commander warned the young man. Then the commander called 2 of his officers and ordered, "Get 200 soldiers ready to leave for Caesarea at 9 o'clock tonight, and take 200 spearmen and 70 mounted troops. Provide horses for Paul to ride, and get him safely to Governor Felix." Then he wrote this letter to the governor. "From Claudius Lysias, to the Excellency, Governor Felix, greetings. This man was seized by some Jews, and they were about to kill him when I arrived with the troops. When I learned that he was a Roman citizen, I removed him to safety. Then I took him to their high council to try to learn the basis of the accusations against him. I soon discovered the charge was something regarding their religious law, certainly nothing worthy of imprisonment or death. But when I was informed of a plot to kill him, I immediately sent him on to you. I have told his accusers to bring their charges before you. So that night, as ordered, the soldiers took Paul as far as Antipatris. They returned to the fortress the next morning, while the mounted troops took him on to Caesarea. When they arrived in Caesarea, they presented Paul and the letter to Governor Felix. He read it and then asked Paul what province he was from. Cilicia. Anyways, I'm going to move on. These names are still a little difficult.
You should know them by now, bro.
I'm working on them, man. The dyslexia mixes up some of the letters. Makes it especially difficult. Anyways, Paul answered, I will hear your case myself when your accusers arrive, the governor told them. Then the governor ordered him kept in the prison at Herod's headquarters. Continuing now at chapter 24. 5 days later, Ananias the high priest arrived with some of the Jewish elders and the lawyers to Tertullus to present their case against Paul to the governor. When Paul was called in, Tertullus presented the charges against Paul in the following address to the governor. You have provided a long period of peace for us Jews, and with foresight have enacted reforms for us. For all of this, Your Excellency, we are very grateful to you. But I don't want to bore you, so please give me your attention only for a moment. We have found this man to be a troublemaker who is constantly stirring up riots among the Jews all over the world. He is a ringleader for the cult known as the Nazarenes. Furthermore, he was trying to desecrate the temple when we arrested him. You can find out the truth of our accusations by examining him yourself. Then the other Jews chimed in, declaring that everything Tertullus said was true. The governor then motioned for Paul to speak, and Paul said, I know, sir, that you have been a judge of Jewish affairs for many years, so I gladly present my defense before you. You can quickly discover that I arrived in Jerusalem no more than 12 days ago to worship at the temple. My accusers never found me arguing with anyone in the temple, nor stirring up a riot in any of the synagogue, or on the streets of the city. These men cannot prove the things they accuse me of doing. But I admit that I follow the way, which they call a cult. I worship the God of our ancestors, and I firmly believe the Jewish law and everything written in the prophets. I have the same hope in God that these men have, that he will raise both the righteous and the unrighteous. Because of this, I always try to maintain a clear conscience before God and all the people. After several years away, I returned to Jerusalem with money to aid my people and to offer sacrifices to God. My accusers saw me in the temple as I was completing a purification ceremony. There was no crowd around me and no rioting, but some Jews from the province of Asia were there, and they ought to be here to bring charges if they have anything against me. Ask these men here what crime the Jewish High Council found me guilty of.
It got dark.
Except for the one time I shouted out, I am on trial before you today because I believe in the resurrection of the dead. At this point, Felix, who was quite familiar with the way, adjourned the hearing and said, wait till Lysias, the garrison commander, arrives. Then I will decide the case. He ordered an officer to keep Paul in custody, but to give him some freedom and allow his friends to visit him and take care of his needs. A few days later, Felix came back with his wife, Drusilla, who was Jewish. Sending for Paul, they listened as he told them about faith in Christ Jesus, as he reasoned with them about righteousness and self-control and the coming day of judgment. Felix became frightened. Go away for now, he replied. When it is more convenient, I'll call for you again. He also hoped that Paul would bribe him, so he sent for him quite often and talked with him. After 2 years went by in this way, Felix was succeeded by Porcilius Festus, and because Felix wanted to gain favor with the Jewish people, he left Paul in prison. Finishing now at chapter 25. 3 days after Festus arrived in Caesarea to take over his new responsibilities, he left for Jerusalem, where the leading priests and other Jewish leaders met with him and made their accusations against Paul. They asked Festus for a favor to transfer Paul to Jerusalem, planning to ambush and kill him on the way. But Festus replied that Paul was at Caesarea, and he himself would be returning there soon. So he said, "Those of you in authority can return with me. If Paul has done anything wrong, you can make your accusations." About 8 or 10 days later, Festus returned to Caesarea, and on the following day he took his seat in court and ordered that Paul be brought in. When Paul arrived, the Jewish leaders from Jerusalem gathered around and made many serious accusations they couldn't prove. Paul denied the charges. "I am not guilty of any crime against the Jewish laws, or the temple, or the Roman government," he said. Then Festus, wanting to please the Jews, asked him, "Are you willing to go to Jerusalem and stand trial before me there?" But Paul replied, "No, this is an official Roman court, so I ought to be tried right here. You know very well that I'm not guilty of harming the Jews. If I had done something worthy of death, I don't refuse to die. But if I am innocent, no one has the right to turn me over to these men to kill me. I appeal to Caesar." Festus conferred with his advisers, and then replied, "Very well, you have appealed to Caesar, and to Caesar you will go." A few days later, King Agrippa arrived with his sister, Bernice, to pay their respects to Festus. During their stay of several days, Festus discussed Paul's case with the king. "There is a prisoner here," he told him, "whose case was left to me by Felix. When I was in Jerusalem, the leading priests and Jewish elders pressed charges against him and asked me to condemn him. I pointed out to them that Roman law does not convict people without a trial. They must be given an opportunity to confront their accusers and defend themselves. When his accusers came here for the trial, I didn't delay. I called the case the very next day and ordered Paul brought in, but the accusations made against him weren't any crimes that I expected. Instead, it was something about their religion and a dead man named Jesus who Paul insists is alive. I was at a loss to know how to investigate these things. So I asked him whether he would be willing to stand trial on these charges in Jerusalem. But Paul appealed to have his case decided by the emperor. So I ordered that he be held in custody until I could arrange to send him to Caesar." "I'd like to hear the man myself," Agrippa said. And Festus replied, "You will tomorrow." So the next day, Agrippa and Bernice arrived at the auditorium with great pomp, accompanied by military officers and prominent men of the city. Festus ordered that Paul be brought in. And Festus said, "King Agrippa, and all who are here, this is the man whose death is demanded by all the Jews, both here and in Jerusalem. But in my opinion, he has done nothing deserving of death. However, since he appealed his case to the emperor, I have decided to send him to Rome. But what shall I write to the emperor? For there is no clear charge against him. So I have brought him before you, all of you, and especially you, King Agrippa, so that we can examine him. So after we examine him, I might have something to write. For it makes no sense to send a prisoner to the emperor without specifying the charges." And that concludes chapter 25. We will pick up next time at chapter 26 with Paul's defense and their examination of him. Thank you for all who stayed and listened, and God bless. And And Twisted Owl, I saw your message saying amen, as well as the friend request. If you want to be added to a small chat where I announce whenever I do these readings, just give me a thumbs up so I can know to add you. If not, it's all great. Oh, excellent. I don't force it. I try very hard not to force it on anybody, but I do like letting people know that it is available in case they want to find their way back during these things. Let's see, Twisted Owl. One moment, and I should have you added. It's a small group chat, very low volume, just mostly announcing as well as prayer requests. Not everyone in there is a believer, but all have expressed interest in coming back, and very nice people, one and all. Alright, there we go. Should have you added. And thank you very much for the kind comment. God bless you too, man. Preacher, it's always good to see you, as always, as well as you, Squirrel.
Howdy, howdy.
Howdy, howdy. Yeah, the names are something I'm still trying to master. There's just so many of them. Especially the town names. I can
Yeah, I
muddle
don't
my...
think you should worry about that because they are, from a different culture, I guess. So it is different wording, different enunciation.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, yeah, you'll get it within time.
Yeah, and I struggle with a little bit of dyslexia, so that every once in a while, especially on the names, people names as well as the town names, it just mixes up when I try to get it out of my mouth.
Yeah, I hear that. Well, I think you did a good job.
Oh, thank you very much.
I'll probably sit here next time.
That's actually my seat in. I modeled this after my real life church, and so my seat in real life church is right up here doing the audio for the worship team.
Yeah.
So I had to add the little sound booth because that's my home. Can't say I'm any good at the audio, but I find it fun.
I'm impressed that you made it like this. You must have had to do a whole lot of building glitches to get it to click.
Oh, so many. Especially, can I just say, this wall right here was such a pain. It is a little half wall floated on no foundation, floated directly in between two other foundations going halfway through. So it's a little 25%
Yeah,
wall.
sounds tedious. Sounds like you're going to have to make my next base for me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I love helping
I wouldn't put you through that. That's so grueling, man.
I actually love building. It's what I do on the game most of all.
Are you able to build other people's stuff? Like, are you able to use stuff I bought from the Atomic Shop and stuff?
Atomic Shop, no. However, I can build foundations, walls. I can build.
And then I can change them to the other colors.
Correct. Yep.
Okay, yeah. We'll do that then.
Yeah, I used to be in a building guild who would build for other people, and now I just do it for free.
Oh,
wow. I was actually, earlier this evening working on a guy's shelter, and it's coming out really cool, actually. We did on the sound stage, we made a big stadium stage kind of thing with like 5 or 6 different sets, all on spike boards, so that way you can trigger them and have them go away, and then repair them and have them come back.
Right.
So, the thing is pretty cool and pretty intricate, and the wiring's all hid underneath the stage, and the, we got like 5 or 6 different sets, including a setup for a live-action Fallout Family Feud.
Ooh, I like the sound of that.
Oh yeah, I can't wait for him to run that. I can't wait to see how that turns out. Let's see. I haven't even looked at what the challenges are today. Purified water event. Permacut slams. Robots, tea and circuitry. Cool. Oh, there's not one more? Oh, whoa. Hi, buddy. There he is. Scrap junk to produce circuitry.
How is it that you have 238 mounted beaver plants?
So, that little building guild I used to be a part of, I kept the stores of the plans for the new builders to gather on. And I went on vacation, and when I was away, the build imploded. And the leadership broke down, and the guild literally exploded from the inside out. And I tried desperately to give people back stuff, and people were just frustrated with the guild and wanted nothing to do with anybody in it. So I've been trying to give those back to the people, but yeah, I got all of the extras.
Oh my goodness, it's a lot though.
Yeah, it is. But that's also one of the plans that weighs literally nothing. So.
Oh, it doesn't weigh anything.
Yeah, so all of those plans weigh nothing. So I throw them in my vendor. There's only like a couple plans that weigh nothing, and that's one of them. So I throw them in my vendor to pull some people by, and get some interest in coming and advertisement for the camps.
Fuck, I was muted the whole time. Do you remember a guy named Penguin Trucker? He's always in Power Armor, quiet guy.
Yeah, I saw him in the sermon.
Yeah, he's my roommate, and so he told me about your thing earlier, like your service. He's like, hey, there's a guy like in a real church here reading, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna come on, because I wasn't even online at that time. That was a few days ago, maybe half a week ago. And then I added you, or you added me to the group or whatever. And again, today I wasn't even on, and then I just see your post. I'm like, oh, I'm definitely going on. So it's one of the things I look forward to. I wasn't even on Fallout until you posted, because I platinumed the game earlier today, so I'm pretty happy with that. But I was just chilling in my room, not doing much, and then I see you go live, and I'm like, oh, I gotta be there.
Well, I'm definitely glad to have you, man.
Yeah, appreciate it. Well, that's nice.
There have been a lot of times when it's just me raiding to an empty church, and I still do it because I never know who's wandering in and out. But
and by my understanding, you go live anyway, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, yeah. Where do you post it on? Twitch, or where do you go?
YouTube. I've got very small channel. It's the same name as my username, road_kill_u. I only really
Nice
started
name.
doing that, well, I didn't even pick it. It was back on my Xbox days. A buddy of mine was named the Squirrels, actually. And,
Ooh.
right? And, so, you know, this was back in, oh god, must have been middle school. And he signed me up for an account at that time, and he signed me up as Roadkill to his squirrels. So, it just kind of, when it came time for me to create the PlayStation name, it's like, you know what, I'm just going to keep with it.
Yeah, it's a name that I don't think suits what you're doing here, but
No,
I like it.
I keep, thinking about changing it back over to something more biblical, like Romans
But
Road,
people
maybe.
recognize you with this name now.
Yeah, and see, that's the struggle, and so I definitely want to keep something with road in it, but maybe Romans Road, or I don't know. I keep playing with the idea, but I haven't actually done it.
Yeah. Savior's Road, I don't know. You can get something with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I could just chill out here. I don't even really play the game. I just come on because I see your service, and I'm like, oh, I was going to hang out in the church. And you know what's really strange is I don't even go to a church in real life. I want to. I've never really had the opportunity. I don't really live near one. So I just kind of come here and enjoy it. It's all new to me. I'm sure you've read these verses 100 times over, but it's all pretty new to me.
I'm only really about, I'd say 3 years into really following Jesus and getting into faith, and yeah, it's still fairly new to me as well, which is probably why I don't have the names down pat yet.
So how would you describe your religion? Would you say you're Catholic, Christian, Protestant?
I would say Christian. I would say I more focus on reading the Word and trying to follow Jesus and follow His example in the Scriptures, more so than any one denomination. I don't think any one denomination has a monopoly on, doing it 100% right. I think they've all messed up here and there. I would say I'm definitely not Catholic, just because there's a lot of scriptures I've come across that their faith flies in the face of. For instance, call no man father, for you have one Father who is in heaven. They call all of their priests father. So I would say, and that's just one example, but I would say I'm probably the least Catholic of any of the denominations, if that makes sense.
No, it does. It's fine. People are going to have different opinions on those things, but each their own.
Yeah. But no, I try mostly to focus on reading and applying what I read. Still not perfect at it by any stance, but I was raised in a very weaponized Christian household where it was used to bash, and it was used, when you didn't do things the way parents wanted, that it was used against me.
You're starting to sound like a liberal Christian.
I'm conservative more than anything.
Okay,
but,
that's good. Scared me.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. But
it's the way you talk. You sound like I get. It's one thing to be accepting. It's another to be totally opposed to everything Catholic, especially if that's how you're raised. And we have different views on the term father, but that's fine. But yeah, it sounded originally like you were getting really liberal on me, and I was like, that's kind of a conundrum when you're Christian, but.
No, but what I mean by used as a weapon, for instance, like my parents went through a nasty divorce. My mom would say things like, demons hop on your back when you go to Dad's house, which is why you act up, and that's why, and they jump off when you come here because they know this is a godly house.
Interesting.
Yeah, so, and something I realized in it is we were a very religious household, but we weren't closely following Jesus. We weren't putting into practice anything that we were learning in church or anything like that. You know, as Jesus said, we weren't picking up our cross and denying ourselves and following him. We were just picking up the religious speak of it all. And so that's what I attempt to do, and how I'm trying to, I don't know, be better than I was yesterday, I guess.
Are you from Texas? Where are you from?
No, I'm from Southern California.
Okay, that explains the time zone why it's so like it's only 12:46 for you, same as me. I'm in BC, like just north of Washington State. I'm in Canada.
So. Okay. I've actually been meeting a lot of people from Canada lately. That is weird.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I've gone for months or actually the past couple of years, not meeting anyone from Canada. In the past 2 months, I would say, I have met over a dozen people from Canada alone.
I guess we're all just cheap bastards waiting for it to be free since February and then hopped on. Our Canadian pesos ain't doing shit.
Yeah.
Man, I feel bad for you living in Southern California, man. It's woke as fuck here. I can only imagine there.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely more on the conservative Republican side.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those people that think, you know, government's gonna fix everything. I think they're both just as corrupt and both are lying. But,
yeah, the way I look at it is, what's the lesser of two evils? That's
exactly.
kind of what I like. I look at it and I'm like, okay, what did I prefer more, 2016 to 2019, or did I prefer 2020 to 2023?
That's a great way to say it.
Like, which way do you think was better? Which, you know, and people can try and play it off however they want, but it's like, just compare. That's how I look at it. And it's like, if you're wrong, then in 4 years you get the opposite. Just fucking alternate every 4 years, I don't care, but don't just run the same bullshit for a decade or so.
Right. Like, I voted for Obama twice. Those were the first elections I could vote in. I was fully bought into the message of change. I was fully bought in it. And
we were all brainwashed.
And then he started that whole apology tour, and I just, one step after the next, started to get really frustrated with him. And then Trump came out in 2016, and I didn't want him either, because I didn't like the way he spoke. But then he started, after he got elected, I still voted for him because he was better than Hillary, in my opinion. But, because lesser of two evils, right?
Yeah, can you place that build thing? You know that marker I'm talking about? That thing where you can switch builds on? Can you place that somewhere in the back room or something?
Oh, I can.
Hide it somewhere.
I can try. Give me 1 second. We'll see how
hide
the budget
it back here, maybe?
me. We'll see how the budget looks.
In the back room. It could be good here, I think. The back room.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll get creative. You're pretty good at that.
Let me get rid of the violin for a minute. There we go. So, and then I got full on the Trump train for a while and let that go crazy, but now I'm just over it, you know?
No, I hear you. I was the same way. I was raised. My dad was a socialist. My mom was a bit more conservative, but my dad was always... We're different in Canada. We have, like, NDP. That's kind of like a socialist group, like Democratic. And then you have liberals, which is obviously the far left fucking maniac, you know, Trudeau people. And then you have conservatives, which our conservatives are just kind of centralists anyway. Anyway, I was raised very, like, you know, democratic, liberal, and stuff like that, but once I kind of woke up is the term I would use, like, discovered for myself what's going on and stuff, then oh, sorry, that was a glitch I was looking at. Anyway, once I was able to make my own decisions and stuff like that, I came to the conclusion that, no, that's not how I want to be, and I oppose it. And because my family raised me to vote for Trudeau in 2016, which I'm not proud of, you know, we did that, and I was told to hate Trump, and then by, like, 2018, I realized, I was like, that was the dumbest shit ever. I was like, you know, obviously we don't have Trump in Canada, but the fact that I was supposed to hate him and demonize him like everyone else, I was like, no, just because it's cool and mainstream doesn't mean it's for me. So it's all hogwash, and I made my own decision from there. I'm pretty proud of it, but people might not like it because I'm pretty brazenly conservative. I mean, I'm unvaccinated, I never wear a mask, and here I am in your church, so, I mean, I'm definitely not woke, on the opposite end, so.
No, you're talking to another unvaccinated, but I definitely don't mind wearing the masks for other people, because I've got a lot of people I've got a lot of other people who around me who are immunocompromised.
Yeah, but see, saying that means you anticipate that the mask
Hey,
will
Road!
even work. I don't
Yeah,
know what
man.
they do.
I got Snark Cookie, dude. It's a friend of mine, really good friend, a chick. And I just wanted to like throw her in here, dude, cause see what you got. I showed her pictures of the church. I don't think she ever seen it all, dude.
Oh yeah, bring her on in.
She's probably on the server.
But no, to answer what you were saying, Squirrel, I don't think the masks ultimately do much. I really don't. I've seen a lot of the studies on it. I don't think they do much, but they make my immunocompromised friends feel a little bit better if I wear them.
That's all it is. It's just a placebo. It's just a sugar pill.
Exactly. And you know what? The Bible talks about, giving up your freedoms if it helps someone else. And so, while I'm not going to give up the freedom on being vaccinated and, putting something foreign into my body, I'll put a piece of cloth over my face,
At what point do you draw the line? Those are the same people that won't do anything for you. Those are the same people that don't give a crap about you and your family and your kids, and those easily segregate you from society, from your job, from visiting family members.
God.
Again, the Bible says, pray for those who deceptively use you, or spitefully use you. Pray for those who are your enemies. Love your enemies. So, I view that as an extension of that. And,
You're a lot more accepting and understanding than I am, it seems.
Again, I'm just trying my best to follow the scriptures. It's not easy, but it's definitely led me to be a lot nicer than I used to be. Because at one time I was right there with you. And what do you mean you want me to wear?
3 years ago.
Yeah. Well, he found me, but
Does that mean you had a similar mindset to me just prior to that, or was it a complete 180 and then God changed you into your political stance?
No, I was very completely along your same lines. That we're in the
political stance.
The
what
Let's Go Brandon hats.
And now what? Are you ashamed to wear those?
No, I choose not to wear them just because my brother is named Brandon and he is very liberal and he has expressed...
I would wear that just to mock him.
Well, see, and that's where in the scripture it says to take the lesser position, view others as better than yourself, and to love them in action, not just in words. And so I've stopped wearing them for him.
I see.
God, she's here? Oh, she is.
Well, I respect your selflessness and the way you relay God through your own words. But for me, I think there's more to be said when you hold steadfast in your beliefs.
No, absolutely. And, the line for me that I draw is I won't deny my faith. I'm just not going to lay down, the hill I'm willing to die on is no longer the political one. Doesn't mean I'm not going to change the way I vote. I'm still going to vote my conscience and vote my faith, but I'm just not going to, push it into somebody else's faith.
Yeah. Mind if I take those Gourmand knuckles for a spin? I want to test them on some Scorched.
No, you're not allowed, bro.
Which one?
Did you put in the card in the box? You have to sign for that.
Who are you talking to?
Hey, Squirrel, what was the one you wanted?
The Gourmand knuckles.
Oh, yeah, sure thing.
I'll try those, see if I can clobber some Scorch in the face.
Ooh, it's clobbering time.
Gourmand?
By the way, you can grab it from your stash too, right? You have a stash in the back room in the desk. You don't need to go up here every time.
Yeah, fair enough. I just do it instinctually.
Hey, guess what, Road?
What's up?
There's my friend Cookie right here.
Hey, Cookie, how goes it?
She needs to go into area chat. I told her.
Yep, I just saw it pop up. I didn't hear it though.
She's pretty cool.
Good morning or good night.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Good evening.
So he's just done with his ratings, but not him. Fucking road. You.
Yeah, what's up?
Oh, yeah. Anyways, you got done with your whole thing, so I was just invited her in. She was getting done with her dailies and bullshit that's going on, dude.
I was doing treasure maps.
Oh,
Your
fun.
Treasure maps.
Hopefully you got some good stuff out of it.
Yeah, some plans I didn't know.
Oh, sweet. That's
Really?
always a win.
He's all, that's always a win. You want to come talk about Joseph Smith?
Oh, please.
No.
Not Joseph Smith. Don't get me started there, man.
See? I'm fine, alright. Cookie, have you seen his church? It's really fucking...
Yeah, I went in.
Oh, okay. Alright.
So are you a fellow builder, or...
She is more of a PvPer, get me wrong.
Oh, right on.
No, PvE.
Oh, PvE. Fair enough.
Okay. Yeah, but
No,
don't fuck with her in a fight.
It's all good. I'm not a PvPer at all.
Don't fuck with Cookie in a fight, though. Ooh, she's getting nasty right now. No.
Right
We're not
on.
on the same... She's not on the same team. She wants to PvP. See what I told you, but, nah, we're good.
Yeah, I saw her pop that invisibility pretty quick there.
Oh, yeah, it's, probably Stealth Mark III. She's business, bro. She don't fuck around. She likes to play and have fun. So, oh, I gotta laugh at that, but I'm serious. That's real. Oh, God. Oh, you got me.
I did. Okay, no more. You're gonna seek revenge. Oh, jeez. Yeah, this is nice. Did you build it?
Yeah, I did. I modeled it after my real-life church, the best I was able to.
No, she just hit me with a chainsaw and I fucking
I like it.
Oh,
folded.
thank you.
That's all that happened.
Definitely a labor of love. But buildings on the game is where I get the joy on the game. Besides for doing the low ratings and whatnot in the community. But I've got 4 out of the 5 camps built out on this character, 5 out of the 5 on my low level.
Oh my God, what the fuck?
I got you, dope. Let me pick you up. Or not.
Sorry.
Do you have any idea how hard it is to get blood stains out of the carpet?
It takes like 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's just awful. That's 15 minutes I'd never get back.
The past fucking ever since the game's fucking had, she just plays around with a chainsaw and has the best shit in the game. It's all fun and games. till you get actually into the hunt. Then it becomes fun. What? Am I wrong? Fuck. I'm not even wearing a suit right now, am I? I'm not. That's why you killed me. Oh, God. Oh, fuck me. Alright, Cookie, come here. Let's see.
What?
Come on, head to head. No boost, just power armor only.
No
Pull your
power.
There's a
What?
naked guy in your bathtub, bro.
Just pull up your fucking best shit and the weapon you use every day. Let's go.
Is baptism happening or what?
Oh, good.
Yeah, didn't take anything. I'm not, no fucking quantums, no nothing. I'm just sitting here.
Road is not here right now. Please come back when you are fully clothed.
There you go.
Oh, I finally got some caps.
That took a lot longer than I thought it would. Honestly. I mean, I'm hydrated and I have some food on me, but...
Is that what you're calling it? Hydrated.
No, water-wise.
I'm just playing.
What is that? Squirrel. Oh, shit. He just wants a box. I don't even know what that is. I'm not... You might be a melee build.
I have pacifist on. I'm just dicking around.
Was like, oh shit, he has all his melee cards. He's fucking just one-shot me, dude. Like,
Oh, God, no.
with a fucking fist. I'm
Graham,
like,
the meat cook is on.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
See you
Let's
there.
go.
See you there.
Oh, fucking this bitch.
Oh.
Oh,
It
what?
failed.
What happened?
It just says it failed.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well,
So
I
you
blame
moving?
Dope.
Meat cook better.
What?
We know that meat
I blame
stink.
Dope for the
We know
that
that
failing.
fire burn.
Dude,
We
Cookie's the
clean up
one who
Charlie's dirty
fucking
piles.
brought
You
it to
okay,
all of our
humans?
attention, right?
This good advice.
You brought her over.
Should listen. Meat cook is
Well, guess
take
what? You
much
would have missed it
practice.
altogether, and you'd be all okay because you never would have seen it happen. You would never know you missed it, right? Until like an hour later.
That was sober.
At least she fucking notified us, dude. Nobody else said a fucking thing. Oh wait,
I didn't
that
really...
was Road. Road said it.
Should
But
I
he was-
pop up another camp? I don't know if he
Uh,
wants to see any of the other camps or... Not sure.
Oh,
Are they
dude.
churches or what else?
You know what, dude? Show her your The one that you have the motorhome that pops out the side or something
Oh,
like that.
yeah. All
That's
right.
good. Hey, oh wait, that's Donald's camps. Never mind. I was gonna say, dude, like all the shit with the gaming shit you got going on. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's up near Priggett's Fort, near Crater.
Cookie
I'll
knows
just
what's
fast
up.
travel on you.
All right.
Yeah.
Headed there.
Let's go, Cookie. Who's that? Wait, who is this?
It's still me. You don't recognize my outfit by now?
Oh yeah, no, sorry. Fuck. I don't pay attention to a lot of people if I don't care about them too much yet.
Oh,
I'm the only other
damn.
guy here.
If
So
that
that's
makes
good.
not to be no,
Hurtful.
not me.
Oh.
Damn, hurtful. Oops, I can't believe I left it with the slide out. There we go. So this is my little RV.
This is cute.
And it's got a little secret. I was almost done building it and my wife goes, "You should give it a slide out." So I did.
Oh, nice. It's like the next level of an awning.
And the little dinette here can transform into a bed.
How do you get it to pop out?
Oh my! Oh,
It's
I
on
love
a
this.
spike board. Oh, hang on.
Okay.
He's in the shower, which kind of threw off the timing, but that's alright. There we go.
You know, there's a naked guy in your RV?
Hey, fucking Turtle's on.
Hello.
Fuck. He's on our server. You want a PvP right now, Cookie?
No, I don't.
Oh god. Turtle's on right now, but she's fucking ready.
I'm not.
Nah, I'm on my alt.
He's on his own. Oh shit. So it's a fucking snowflake fairy little
this
thing
guy got a
dancing
shop?
around.
Has this guy got a shop or not?
A
Yeah,
shop?
it's in the shelter.
No, but he doesn't have anything for sale, dude. Everything he puts at 40,000 caps because he's not a seller. He's a builder, like hair.
Jeez, love, no, I give away all that stuff for free. Don't just make it sound like I'm catfishing.
No, well, no, not in that bad way. But it's all about building and how he's popping out the motorhome here. That's all we're looking at right now, I guess. But yeah, I don't know if you have shit for sale, dude. I'll give you some shit, fucking Turtle. I owe you quite a bit. Squirrel, I don't know you. A fucking naked man.
You get it.
Yeah, well.
I know how much Road doesn't like this, so I like to go inside his house and RV naked.
Oh, well.
This is not the nudist camp.
Yeah, that's a different fucking build and a different character. He never pops it up because, you know, maybe late night on a Thursday night when all the working people are asleep.
You could have just stopped after he never pops it out. I mean, you could have just stopped there.
I could stop a lot of places, but I never do. It's so fucked up. Yeah, it happens, you know. I can't. She just pours out of my mouth. Sorry. I'm not sorry, but yeah, that's what we're doing, dude. Fuck. I just sold a whole shitload of more stim packs. You weren't on, bro. So, and do that.
I'm gonna go hide in my safe space.
Your safe place? Oh my god.
No, he followed me.
Yeah, you hid this under the fire pit. I see you.
Yeah, there's a symptomatic right below it.
No, it's okay. I got clothes on this time. You're safe.
Oh, good.
I can change though. Just say the word.
Pup, help.
That is the word. Here we go. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm
no.
scared.
Oh, he cut that off quick, didn't he?
Where's your vendor, Meow?
Vendor's in the shelter.
Did you say, where's your vendor? Meow?
Maybe.
I direct people to the shelter because that's where the signage I could afford the budget on to say, let me know if you want anything. I give away all that stuff for free. So
Well, that was a rip-off to hell.
it would be
Or
unless
if-
I gave away all that stuff for free and posted a sign right next to it saying, let me know what you like.
Or if... Ah, right. There was nothing down there I liked.
Well, then, I mean, sorry you didn't see anything you liked.
You should just put it in your camp as free items.
Well, every time I try to put them in as free items, only one person comes and takes literally everything. I try to help out more people than just one person at a time. So,
I suppose that's nice.
so hence I put up the sign saying, see something you like, let me know and it's yours.
Ew.